Last words whispered to a lover's heart return, that shouts to the mighty children, echoing off of drums in the ear. Sit me up, turn me loose. These words I still see, these words I still hear. It was a system of hate that laid you down. Blood raining from your body like lightning piercing clouds, and your blood rains in my memory, like the color red on stained magnolia flowers. I defy the system that made the coward, that pulled the trigger, that caused you not to be here. The system of hate still haunts the ones you call your own. I defy the system with my spirit, flesh, and bone. I slay the system with my tongue, actions, and deeds. I stand tall, helping Black people off of their knees. Kissing the system leads to breeds of filthy ignorance in the form of handouts and blackface. While white faces show false pride, slip and slide and hide behind white lines. Your soul echoes through bottle trees. All from Mississippi winds still crowns my head, releasing all fear. Sit me up, turn me loose. These words I see, these words I hear. How close can your soul be? Brother Charles over airwaves keeps alive your memory. Sister Merle fought for justice for 30 years and won. Cowards can never hide behind the evil they have done. The truth is clear. It is you, on cool, steamy nights when my peace is interrupted. The shadows on the wall scream, get up and do something. My only recourse is to write with pen and pad, words to write the laws from the not too distant past. It is all too late. Sit me up, turn me loose. These words I see, these words I hear. To those who speak your name, from the street or post office that gives it fame. To those that don't know the back roads and wrongs to make Mississippi a home worth calling home. Sit up, you mighty people. Turn loose the mental chains. Sit up, my beautiful people. Turn loose the burden of blame. Sit up, love for people, for all humanity. Turn loose the evil that uproots the tree of life. Mississippi. 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 Whether you be heaven or hell, I am here, holding the memory of Mecca until Black people have no fear of themselves. In the cup of our mother's hands, we hold the memory of the man, Mecca, Mecca.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Reviving Mississippi. I'm your host, DeKeither Stamps. We got our co-host here, Mr. Jason Clark. What's going on, JC?
Sir, I'm glad to be back in the city, man. We've been so many places, it seems.
We've been on the road.
Yes, sir. But hey, man, I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, like we always do, man, we got to start the show off correctly, right?
As we begin every show, we always remember those folks who are going through bereavement.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask for a special prayer for the Price family.
Yep.
Handing man, my cousin.
Come on now.
Pray for the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Pray for all the families who are going through bereavement. I've been gone. I was out of town for the services, but I would have been there. And I just want to pray for the family and all the families who are going through bereavement because it's a trying time. It ain't easy now.
Nope.
And I just want to say, we love you, Handy.
Yes.
We appreciate you and all the families who are going through bereavement. I also want to pray for a good friend of ours, Ms. Monica Shepard. Her house burned.
Yeah.
She told me that today. I said, we're going to put you on the prayer list, dear. And all the folks who are going through trying situations. Let's just take a moment to just, pray for them.
Commissioner, since you just mentioned about the fire,
Mm-hmm.
we sometimes we fail to forget that, during the tornado season or hurricane season, that's another thing that we also forget. You have a lot of fires,
Yeah, this was an electrical fire in the home.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you test your smoke detectors.
There you go. Come on now.
Just do the change your air
maintenance.
filters out. You know, all the stuff you do when the season change.
Yeah.
I want to recognize our underwriters for today's show. Mr. Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan Transportation Service. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. He offers quality transportation services all over Mississippi.
Yes, indeed.
And also Stamp SuperBurgers.
Tiger Town. Come on now.
You know, if you want some good food versus fast food, go on over to Stamp SuperBurgers, check them out. Then I'm gonna give you a discount because I sent you.
No.
I like that SuperBurger.
Oh, I thought you were about to change and say you come to the vegan side now.
I like that what they call it burger.
Come on, man. I like the veggie burger, man, with some sweet potato fries now.
Well, you know, just give me some lemon pepper fries and I'll be all right. Today's show is going to be the most powerful show that we've ever done.
Thus far. I agree with you.
Thus far.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because we know our reason why y'all put us and keep putting us in place.
I agree.
And we're going to discuss some very powerful things that we propose that are somewhat controversial.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. The space of being a warrior is a lonely space. I started my professional career out in the warrior space. And in that space, we need the tip of the spear.
Yep.
Especially in special operations, you end up in spaces where it's just you and God.
That's true. That's true.
And you got to trust and believe that the steps you're ordered to take are the right steps. All right? You know, Mississippians are a very unique people.
Hey, man.
I mean, black or white.
That's true.
We're people of deep resolve. I'm talking about, look at the history of America and look at the Mississippians who have played a pivotal role in the progression of this country and this world. That's why you got Mississippians all over the world. Everywhere I go, I run across good folks from Mississippi.
Hey, one way or another, they have roots right here in Mississippi.
Well, in Chicago, that's just North Mississippi.
You're right. Come on, Detroit, North Mississippi.
North Mississippi.
St. Louis.
You want to go to St. Louis, that's
Same
just,
thing.
you know, Peace North Mississippi.
You're right.
You want to go to Los Angeles, that's just West Mississippi. You're right. You want to go to Florida, that's, you know, New York, that's all East Mississippi. So much so New York has a Mississippi Day with a Mississippi celebration for all the Mississippians in New York in Central Park.
Shout out
every year.
Shout out to my cousin Stephen Brown up there, Dig.
What I'm telling you is Mississippians have people of deep resolve. High character, deep resolve has been the hallmark, whether you're black or white.
That's true.
It's been people of resolve. When we believe something, we believe it to our core.
That's true. And that is true.
See, we're not shallow resolve people.
Yeah, that I have to give you that one.
We are deep resolve people. Yeah. And I was asked a question early this week. I'm about to take my coat off.
I'm about to take mine.
Y'all get comfortable.
If we get so many calls coming in, I'm about to take my jacket off.
Y'all get comfortable now. Get you a glass of water, lemonade, because we're going to peel back the onion today. Earlier this week, really started off with the assassination attempt of former President Trump. We issued a statement. And some folks had issue with this. Some folks loved it. For us, we just do what's right. You know, we just throw strikes. And one of those was, if you're not going to lead, well, you need to step down. Wasn't directly aimed at the president in that moment, but really was aimed at Washington, D.C. I think the statement read to all leaders in Washington, D.C., if you're not going to lead, resign. And that has led to some sequence of events that have happened over the weekend. The president announced he's not running for re-election.
Yes, they do.
And then he has an illness. Some say it's COVID.
Serious matter.
Serious matters.
Yeah.
And we were asked what was our position on that earlier this week on TV. And we've been getting phone calls from the statement we made. Those of you who saw the TV interview, maybe some of the folks who have, have questioned us. Our position was that we shouldn't, if it was my grandfather, this is not me as Commissioner Stamps, it's me as a man. If it was my grandfather and I saw my grandfather in that debate, I would not want the legacy of my grandfather, who spent 50 years in electoral politics, to be defined by a window of a few months.
Yeah.
Now, I've agreed and disagreed on issues with President Biden over the course of those 50 years, which is longer than I've been alive. But I wouldn't want for the defining moment of the presidency to be defined by instances like that debate or any other type of miscue that may happen over the course of the next few months. And this is from someone who knows presidential service intimately well. I spent several years on Marine One. And if you ever travel on Marine One, there's not a few people in that space. So you're up close, personal in that space. And I said that president should resign. And people had mixed feelings about that.
Which should be expected.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But we study our positions before we make them. We don't make off the cuff.
No emotion, no ego.
Right.
Logic, constructive thought. You're right.
And when I say Mississippians are people of deep resolve, we come from a lineage of the DeKeithers and the Medgar and Merle Evers and the Charles Everses and the Fannie Hamers and the Aaron Henrys.
You're right.
You know, we come from people who can see a situation and see it all the way through and grasp what's right, even when what's right isn't even likable or digestible, and hold on to it. That's why we looked at the situation and we said, well, and take our personal experience, the presidency is a grueling duty.
Oh, yeah.
When Marine One lands on the South Lawn of the White House at 9 o'clock in the morning and whisked the president away, he's had meeting, speech, and lands again at 10 o'clock at night. He may have been halfway around the country over the course of the day. Just do it all over again. That's why when you see a president, you see him bright-eyed and bushy-tailed day one. Then at the inauguration of their successor, there's a huge difference in what they look like. Now imagine, let me paint a picture for you. Me as a 19-year-old Marine, I mean, I was in the fittest shape of my life. I just got into special operations, and President Clinton was running for re-election. In the month of September, we did 90 cities in 30 days. In the month of October, we did something crazy like 140 cities in 30 days.
That's a lot of stress on the body.
Now, this is me as a 19-year-old Marine.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
The president has to give, I wouldn't give any speeches.
You got to charge her every
The
time.
workload of that. I can see why there was a decision made to step down from the presidency, from running for re-election. But we took it a step further after we analyzed the situation and said, no, in this juncture, we don't want the weight of service to cause the death of a president. Just from a mental and physical health standpoint, we said the best thing in this moment is for the president to just step down altogether and take care of his health. Because no matter how mental and physically well you are, just the weight of the presidency for 6 months That's more work than the average citizen does in their lifetime. 6 months as president, you've looped around the world, looped around the country, you've made major decisions, and there is no room for the miscues that happen. And so again, people may have had issue with that position. Let me finish. And so that's why we took that position. Secondly, that position was deeply resolved when we got notice of the letter and folks started supporting Vice President Harris. And you saw the overwhelming support. I mean, I was on a phone call Sunday night with 45,000 Black women. Primarily, it was probably maybe 5-10% men, but majority women. And they raised $80 million, $100 million. I even know of an instance where a 15-year-old daughter took her father's credit card and swiped it. And when he asked her about it, she said, "Daddy, you said use the card in case of emergency, and this is an emergency."
Well, that's how she felt.
That's how she felt. But my point I'm trying to make is, a lot of people are digging into spaces and change purses and pockets to support Vice President Harris become president. And looking at the mental and physical condition of the president and looking at the situation, we sent a series of communications around the country and around the world, really. We were on a Zoom call yesterday with folks around the world. I mean, leaders globally, ambassadors were on the call. We had several global, because not only am I connected with folks at the local level, we connected with folks, at high levels as well. I introduced it to them, and they said, "No, Steph, that may be too much, But then today, I get a call back again from the leader of that group, one of the ambassadors, and he said, "Stamps, I think you may be right." I said, "I know I'm right."
He thought it all the way out.
Because we thought it out before we said it the first time a week ago. And we still stand on our position that the president needs to resign. Because I don't want for people to manipulate the hearts and minds of all these people. Remember, I was on a call with 45,000 people digging into places and purses of money they didn't have to give and gave. And still are.
That's true.
I don't want for Washington, D.C. to manipulate the hearts and minds of hardworking people, specifically women, to Hillary Clinton 2.0. I believe that if the president's supporting Vice President Harris, he can make her president today.
There was some pushback on that,
And so let me give a quick lesson on civics. Well, the presidential succession goes to the vice president, and then also the Speaker of the House becomes vice president.
That's true.
And some people gave some pushback there. And I said, well, I don't believe that Vice President Harris has major policy differences than President Biden. I'm sure she has some things that she wants to do a little bit differently.
You're right.
And I don't believe that the Speaker of the House has too many major differences than former President Trump. And I know it's never been done before in the history of America in a successionary moment, but this will force those two factions of our political process to work together for 6 months. Because they'll still be president and vice president and have to walk into that White House and make decisions for the betterment of this country. And what I honestly believe is that given the opportunity for the speaker to be vice president, that means that those two groups are going to have to work together. And the prescription for this moment that we're in, where people have been so polarized, is to do something that has never been done before. It requires a prescription, a dose of medicine that has never been administered before in American political government. And that prescription is forcing the Democrat leadership of this country and the Republican leadership of this country to hold hands, walk in that White House and get stuff done for this country. And in doing that, I honestly believe we can set the stage to bring people together. So for me, it wasn't an easy decision. But once we made a decision, we prayed about it, that's why we took the position we took. For the reasons I've just articulated to you. And I know we have only have an hour on the show this week.
Yeah.
But as I always have done, I come here and explain to you exactly why I do what I do. Now you can agree or disagree. And we're gonna open the phone lines up at 6:30 for you to call in and you tell me if you agree with my position, and I'm gonna love you and we're gonna love each other anyway, but I'm gonna yield to my co-host for a few remarks.
Commissioner, and we always talk about the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
The youth future is president.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just thinking long term right now, knowing that the U.S. citizens actually deserve solutions to their problems,
Mm-hmm.
not results.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I say it again. They
Mm-hmm.
deserve solutions to the problems.
That's right.
Not results.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a too long continuation of that. Okay, historically, just speaking of history, whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
though, we are at a particular time right now that we can bring these, I would say, opposite polarized groups to the center for once, to do something long-term, constructively, logically, for the future of the children that's here presently right now.
That's right.
And so my stance on it really is say that this is the time for us to actually call for that demand.
That's right.
That this was actually what actually say we're going to do something for the future, or we're going to keep on. I hate to use this word I call it word politics. Keep on doing these things and going in, and it's hamster we always do.
Let me unpack that word
Right.
politics for you.
Yes, sir.
See, politics is a form of lazy leadership. Let me tell you what lazy leadership looks like in government. Lazy leadership is when people get elected and then they turn to the people
Mm-hmm.
and say, we can't get anything done because of them. No, that's not the correct answer. Your job is to get something done.
Yeah.
Your job is not to go down there, fuss and fight, and walk back here and achieve nothing.
Yeah.
Your job is to go in there, get you some Pepto-Bismol, bite your lip, do what's necessary to produce something good for the American people. That's your job. Lazy leadership just says, well, I can't get nothing done because of this group. That should no longer be acceptable.
Yeah.
At any level.
Yep. Local, all the way down to
local, all the way to the national.
Yep.
The citizens should no longer accept that as an excuse to not get anything done. You must see what we do is we make a list of what we agree on.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit down at the table. You've been right there, Jason, with Governor Reeves and Lieutenant Governor, and we're gonna get something done. In the words of my good friend Kenneth Stokes, something gonna get did.
but going to that though, you're talking about building rapport.
That's right.
Building relationships.
That's right.
And find out where in the common ground where you guys actually agree
Mm-hmm.
and move forward on that. And then as that snowball effect start to happen, then you deal with some of those outliners out there.
That's right.
But going back to what you just said right now, I want us to miss that statement.
Mm-hmm.
You gave a great example about civic, and so with the president, if he does do something like that, and you have the VP becoming the president, and now you have the speaker become the VP, now you actually bring these groups together, and now American citizens can start being more and more engaged and involved in this political process.
That's right.
That's what it really comes to. And what I do like about it, as we had discussed it previously, is now we have a measuring stick to show where we gauging at. Where are we too far left? Are we too far right? Where are we at?
And the last thing, you have to learn from history. That's why I'm a student of history. There was a black leader who went to the White House.
Yeah, I know.
And he said, Mr. President, these are the things that we need to do to move this country forward. And the president turned to him, looked him dead in the eye on the balcony.
Yeah.
I done stood in that same very spot on that balcony. And he looked that black leader in the eye and said, I agree with you. Now make me do it.
Make me do it.
He leaned to him, leaned in close like this. He said, I agree with you. Now make me do it. When you negotiate with the president, the most powerful position in the world, it can't be an ask, will you please step down? My position, knowing how to negotiate with the president, is simply this. For far too long, the National Democratic Party has taken the black vote for granted. What can also happen in this moment if we do exactly what I'm about to tell you. Now, this is the part that's going to take courage, resolve. This is not the moment to get thrown off. What I'm about to say is the most important piece of this whole conversation. We must look the DNC in the eye, who will play a major role in the decision-making process of the president stepping down. And tell the DNC, if the president does not step down, 20% of the black vote will go vote Republican. And he will lose close races in the House of Representatives and close races in the Senate. We now have a president in check. And now it's time to move that final piece and put him in checkmate. This is not a moment of a request. The moment that we're in right now will go down in history of the black electorate standing together, coalescing with others who agree.
Coalition, yeah.
Some folks Republicans, some folks Democrats, some folks others, some folks independent. But the core of that group is that black vote. Looking a president in the eye and said, if you don't do this, this will happen. And what that will do, this is the same formula that other racial groups use to fly the bird. Because what we've been doing is putting all of our energy in one wing of the bird. Other groups ensure that they have 70 to 80% representation in one wing and 20 to 30% representation in the other wing. And they use the strong wing to flap hard and that other wing to flap soft, controlling the bird. So now the question right now is two things. First and foremost, will Washington, D.C. respect the power of the black vote? Secondly, will the black vote stand together and make him do it? This is our moment. The moment that Frederick Douglass had to go into the White House and take a certain posture. Not a power posture, but a positional posture. There's a moment where W.E.B. Du Bois had to take a certain posture walking into the White House. There's a certain posture that Martin Luther King had to take walking into the White House to negotiate. And that posture has been indicative of our situation in those moments. It started off Hold on, caller. Give me a few minutes. Give me 2 more minutes. That posture. Hold on, caller. I know I said 6:30, but now it's time for us to walk into the White House like a man. With all the power that God has given us, and look a president dead in the eye and make him do it. Now we can take some calls in. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hello, good evening, Mr. Commissioner.
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. You have never been one that was scared to bite your tongue or mince your words.
That's right.
I agree with you. 100%. And I will also say this right here. Now is the time that the Black Coppers step up and demand and make that demand. Make that demand also for us. But we are as strong as the unity that we become, and the Black Coppers there in Congress in Washington can be the lead for us to walk up to DNC and let them know that we have power in our vote, and right now that's what they're looking for. That's what they want. I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, I appreciate you, dear. And, again, call in. Call the number 601-948-5950. That's 601-948-5950. I've been talking for a half an hour. I want to hear from you, whether you agree or disagree with our position, because we welcome all of it for a discourse. But I want to make sure that we understand. For those who just tuning in, we're talking about, or I'm explaining why I took a position calling for the president to resign. And that resignation wasn't an easy decision for me to do. It was made that request wasn't an easy decision for me. We rolled around and talked about it and prayed about it, and we went through a process. But when we got the green light from the man above, that's our position.
Commissioner, and going to the caller, it's a great woman, Fan Lou Hank, man.
That's right.
I just, I have to bring this up because right now she took that kind of similar stance.
That's it.
Herself. Did something that wasn't easy at all. No. When it totally against the program of the grain.
That's right.
At her particular time. But if we go back and look at history, she probably is doggone right.
Was right.
Like clearly. And so my thing is, Mississippi roots again, we don't have to keep on, I use the word saying Kofa, and keep on going back and look at history. That's right. We got enough of that in our present day.
That's right.
And if you look around your communities, I'm talking about across the board, Republican, Democrat, Black, white, women, males, all this good stuff. We know good and doggone well, we got to be doing some different things in this time, in this day and age.
That's right.
And to continue to pass on all the issues and problems down to the next generation, or this time period, and this time period, this time period. You don't forget, you got other vultures looking at you.
And
I don't know if you would talk about that, but you got.
Let's go a little deeper. Since the phone ain't ringing.
That's fine.
If we do not do this, there's a price to pay, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
First and foremost, we will be losing our position in history. Secondly, if we don't exercise the full power of our common sense vote, good white folks and Black folks coming together, if we don't do this in this moment, then in 4 years, they're going to retool and come back and continually take our vote for granted. Our common sense, everyday people vote, folks working together, and they're going to have polarizers, people, extremists on both sides. Yeah. If we don't heal this nation, this is what healing the nation looks like, forcing it to work together. And I'm not talking about bloody force. Let me say something to you. I'm aggressive when I talk, but I clearly understand that the most powerful weapon that man has ever invented, the most powerful weapon that man has ever invented is his ink pen. And I'm asking for everyone to pick up a pen, write a letter. That's it. Sign on to a letter. You'll see our letter online in the morning. Once the lawyers get done looking at it. But I'm telling you what it's going to say. I'm asking for leaders. I don't care if you're an alderman.
There you go.
Board of supervisors, constable. You're a leader. For far too long, we have been putting leaders in management positions to manage. No, I'm asking, I want you to lead.
There you go. That's exactly what's
Supervisors, mayors, council people, state reps, state senators, governors, ambassadors. It's time for everyone to stand up to this point that we're in and force Washington, D.C. to work together. That's what we're calling for. On my side, I just know that presidents don't respond to requests because they get requests all the time from everybody in the world.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay? They don't respond to requests. They respond to demands. So in this juncture, either the president steps down or they're going to lose a whole bunch of House and Senate races across the country. That's the demand. And the ball is in the president's court. The ball is in his leadership's court. And for those who may have forgotten, DeKeither Stamps was the past president of the National Black Caucus of local elected officials, which are mayors and council people from around the country. Just in case folks, sometimes folks forget.
You're right.
They make me think I'm just a regular guy. I don't know anybody.
Well, you local, but you think global too now.
Right. We local, but we think global.
That's true.
I ain't traveled the world and met people and made friends and sustained those relationships over a lifetime. I've been in it a long time. And coming back to Mississippi was the best thing that ever happened to me because it fire water baptized me again in my state. And if Mississippi can work together, y'all see me on the news working with folks, creating jobs. They said we were crazy when we said we're going to create 100,000 jobs.
Well, we on the track record right now.
All I'm going to say is, wait till you see what happened in Meridian next. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm just going to leave that right there. And whoever else want to work together. Now, if you want to be a polarizer, we don't do that. But if you want to work together, that's what we have to do.
But and community, I mean, the citizens, I've been saying this for a while. I used to say our community, our responsibility.
That's right.
Last year, I started saying we need to be engaged and involved in the process, the political process. Commissioner already asked, you put the motion out there, you asked everyone to, in the local municipalities to, y'all need to put the pen and paper, send it all the way up as top and ask for the same thing.
That's right.
But my ask would be for the citizens that we have to have some accountability. We need a measuring tool. We can't go down the next 20 and 30 years like this. This polarizing right now, Commissioner, can do two things. They can bring people together and go forward, or divide and be conquered. I got enough oligarchs as it is right now. And they eating. That shark is eating. Yeah. That shark is eating. And people take advantage when you're like this right now. They take advantage where you're not really grounded, rooted. You're talking about the root. When you're not rooted as you should be. And so my ask is for the citizens, hey, some of the things that you guys are hearing right now, it may sound far left, far right, or lukewarm, however you want to look at it, but take some time, digest it. You have plenty of common sense. Plenty of common sense. And you know right now that we need to be bringing this country together, and we need to be thinking long term. We need to be thinking long term, the foundation.
That's right.
We need to be thinking long term and stop having other groups or entities thinking long term for you or for those who you elect. So now you come back to the power.
That's it.
because we can actually push that needle forward.
That's right.
All right, then to actually make them understand what power looks like. I'm gonna give you an example.
Mhm.
It just happened the other day when they got on the phone and listen, so many hours raised that. So you got to have people got when you digest that. It's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces going together for people to actually raise that amount of money in a short amount of time for one come and go.
That's right.
So I'm saying apply those same skill sets to go a step further or to go all the way through.
If you're
And
gonna,
so
see it all the way through.
That's it. Because right now I'm not taking from it, but all I'm saying is this: don't leave me out there in the middle of the road.
And you took all these folks' money. People that didn't. This is gas money, the grocery money, they medicine money. This is not $80 million that people had just in a savings account. Because most folks aren't even saving like they used to.
I mean, that I'm gonna tell you, I got plenty that text, that call they were on. I got that text from being, if I can just say this, from white people I know,
That's
women
right.
and black. Okay,
Yeah, this is not.
So,
even though I talk about the black portion of it, but this coalition.
I'm being honest with you.
Of God and good people know that the Washington D.C. is so deeply broken. It's going to have to take them forced to work together by force.
But it's the time before. I think it's the right recipe right now, Commissioner, for us to actually to do this. We always talk about young folks ain't doing this and young folks ain't doing that. Okay, adults, what you gonna do? Because this is your time right now. I'm talking about those who are actually involved, investing into their environment.
Tag me in your post that you make.
Oh yeah.
We put a hashtag resign Biden. Simple. Write your letter, make your post. Let me catch this call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Good afternoon, Commissioner Jay.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Oh, Marcel Jackson.
Not so much. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and how long is too long?
Jackson.
Come on, that sounds like somebody up in the middle of the heart of the Delta.
Nobody but just a little guy that went to Ruleville that you mentioned, Miss Lou Hamer. Her daughter was my classmate, and I'm a little old country boy that's trying to make a difference.
Respect.
Names aren't important, but actions speak louder than words. And I appreciate everything you and Jason always have done and are doing.
Yes, sir.
What are your comments about asking or demanding that the president resign?
Well, right now that's already taking place. Tonight he's going to give his farewell last hurrah speech, which he's done a yeoman's job in the last 50 years. So we stand on the shoulders of those who came before. And as he getting ready to pass the baton to Vice President Harris, and you're talking about working together in the Black Caucus. My phone has lit up the last 3 days of how everybody came together real fast, especially in the Greek and sorority world. They now came lock and stock. Faster than I ever seen anybody do it in the history of doing.
Okay, now.
And in our community, it's collective collaboration. You're only strong as your weakest link.
Yes.
That's right.
But things happen for a reason. I always tell people, I'm one of them stand on the corner of my religious beliefs. God always have a ram in the bush. So things happen for a reason. So this is going to be one of the most interesting presidential debates you ever seen for whatever network carrier. It's going to be probably one of the most watched debates.
Well,
when you talk about the caucus and the elected leadership, we have to do that on a local level. We got to come together, people. Now it's time. We can't wait on something from the past, and we have to look for each other for our strengths. And like you always say, meet me in the middle. Just meet me in the middle, then we work on everything else later.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. And keep doing what you're doing.
Come on now.
You have turned the Walmart on Highway 18 into a internship, and you're in that place.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I know.
You have touched so many young people's life. I've talked to folks in there who are around you. I appreciate the work you're doing over there, and I appreciate the work you're doing in the Delta. With the store in the Delta. Can you share a few words about the store right quick?
Yeah, just a little background on it. My family been in the hippie business for years. In 1940, my grandfather and his brother and them purchased and had a large amount of land, which we still have approximately about 500 acres out of the 1,600 acres we had acquired. And I had an opportunity to get a store that we've been setting vacant for 11 or 12 years now. Took my little savings and bought it, and I'm revamping it. It's a store on one side and a cafe on one side. I'm taking it all the way back to BaoBab and building it back bigger and better. So there could be a focal point for the community. Again, you're only strong as your weakest link. And there's so many issues out there that we got to address. And then I always tell people it's mathematically impossible to have problems just rules of application. And the greatest resource isn't the money, it's the people. And I stand on the shoulders of yourself and your family, because again, I'm a little country boy. I know how to chop cotton and pick peas, but every now and then you get a good conversation out of the elders.
You're right.
And I always lean on my elders more than I do the internet. Because they live that experience. They know that experience. They felt that experience.
That's right.
And so I can't help with the thinking once they set the baton down and pass it to me, I got to pick it up and run with it.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right. So I appreciate you, brother. You take care now.
You know.
All right. Appreciate y'all. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. And callers, remember, the caller number 601-948-5950. Let's go.
Yeah, Commissioner, you know, Mr. Bird, I love him life, man. But you know, he hit his last few comments he was talking about as far as the eldership. You know, I've always, I've been in management at the post office, stuff like that, different places. And I always tell people I got old fools and got young fools, but I also got elders. Elders are going to be there with you through the thick and thin, 12 o'clock, midnight, 1 or 2 o'clock. They're going to answer that phone. They're going to do all the above. And to your point, many times I done popped my head up there at 18. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, we know Bird have retired and everything. Supposed to be
don't need any money.
No money at all.
He'll take some money.
Yeah, but still.
You don't need the money.
But for him to actually be like, I mean, I might get him in trouble out there now. But he actually be doing it though, man. He be taking those young folks, mentoring them while they're in the care. I mean, and he have them going. That's more of a sense of community though.
That's it.
Because he don't need to be working at. I mean, literally, he's just there to pass time by. If you ask me.
But I can see our young folks. They see so much, but they dream so little, and it takes folks like Mr. Bird to light that light inside of them,
keep it lit,
to get them to dream again.
You're right.
Because they see all kinds of stuff on the phones and the internet and all that. But when you look in their eyes and say, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? That light is dim, and it takes folks mentoring. Sometimes it takes folks from outside the household to positively affect your young people.
Well, this is the time right now that we need to be doing just that nationally.
That's right.
I can't harp on this and never. I know you said a lot on it and whatnot. I really want to make sure the listeners, if they don't know this, to go on social media, look up Revising Mississippi, look up Commissioner DeKeither Stamp's name, share this video. That conversation needs to go further than just past. I'm saying, Commissioner, I'm talking about next 20, 30 years, because I'm going to be honest with you, Commissioner. I know I may look young still, but I'm catching up with you a little bit, man. So I'm thinking about the next 20 years, what my world gonna look like. Right. When I get around, be 60, the Lord say so. So we have to actually do these things because many of those who are with us now will not be here to help guide us. And so what are we actually truly leaving behind in the present? I didn't say in the future. What are we leaving out in the present? That means that, to me, doing the things that's not always cool, that's not always liked, okay, but you get a huge return on the investment.
It was necessary.
And one thing I do like about this, I don't know if what he says is true or not about the president resigning, but this is my thing. You put both of those parties now in a position they have to work together.
That's right.
That's my thing.
One thing that the world will be looking at, they will be looking at the top person in the Republican Party and the top person in the Democratic Party forced to go to work together every day.
And then citizens can also start to understand what that preamble, what those constitutional rights mean, and how the people that you sit to go work for you, how they should be conducting themselves.
That's right.
Serious.
The world will be watching. I got my popcorn ready.
Well,
I'm going to set the example from the seat I sit. And I want to say one more thing before we get off there. We're doing it at the Public Service Commission. We're different races, different parties, but we work together. And there may be an issue or two that we disagree on, but we we meet those issues with dignity. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Man, I'm enjoying your show today. Well, look, we always say it down here that Joe Biden should step down. Hey, look, Commission, ain't nothing worse for health.
That's right.
Joe Biden been up there all his life.
Mm-hmm.
He done run himself down. Ain't nothing greater than your health.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody can handle that position, Kamala Harris can handle it. If anybody can handle it, she can handle it. Because he get a lot of advice from her.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that the president and vice president work together. Their ideas can't be too much different. It can't be, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you got a great show today, and I got off time to come in and try to give you a call and talk on it. He needs to get out of there.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling in.
Look, health is failing him. If anybody can handle it, a woman can handle it, she can. Man, I had all kind of paperwork going on. That's a woman among women. She can handle it, man. You got a great show today.
Well, I appreciate it.
He needs to step aside. He needs to step aside, Commissioner. He really do. Let her handle that position, because she can handle it. Look, I ain't gonna hold up here. I know you want somebody else to call, but you got a great show going on here today. You need to get out of there.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate you,
Thanks
sir.
thanks for calling. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks,
sir.
And final word, Jason.
Commissioner, I know regardless whatever happens, I know we got to keep on pushing even forward. So that's all I got to say.
Henry, we're going to play that poem at the end again. Henry. All right.
I got you.
One thing I want to finish up by saying this, ladies and gentlemen. I love you. No, for real love you. Each and every one of you. And this prescription we want to send back to Washington, D.C. is the medication necessary to make them work together. Because we can't handle any more division. And secondly, we cannot allow for a small group of people to manipulate a fragile senior citizen in the twilight of his life. 6 months less being president may add 5 years to the president's life. We can't let a small group of people manipulate a president to lose quality life in his golden years. Jimmy Carter, had a lot of years after president.
A lot.
Reagan had a lot of years after president. After what I've seen the last few weeks, I don't know how much longer the president can handle this. And then what his life will look like after the presidency.
Stress.
So if it was your grandfather, you would say, well, Papa, I think it's time to come mentor the grandchildren. I think it's time to teach and allow others to do while you can. And that's all we're saying. Just me as a grandson looking at the situation. And I want to end by saying that we always say, thanks to our sponsor, Mr. Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan Transportation Service, and Stamp SuperBurgers for providing great service. And never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own folks, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. And we're going to leave out of here how we come in with the most powerful poem that's been written in Mississippi history.
Soft brown hands cupping the face of a dying man. In her soft brown hands, she held rivers of blood and tears. Lead bullets ripped through the majesty of his views. Last words whispered to a lover's heart to return, as shouts to the mighty children, echoing off of drums in the ear. Sit me up, turn me loose. These words I still see. These words I still hear. It was a system of hate that laid you down. Blood raining from your body like lightning piercing clouds, and your blood rains in my memory like the color red on stained magnolia flowers. I defy the system that made the coward, that pulled the trigger, that caused you not to be here. The system of hate still haunts the ones you call your own. I defy the system with my spirit, flesh, and bone. I slay the system with my tongue, actions, and deeds. I stand tall, helping black people off of their knees. Kissing the system leads degrees of filthy ignorance in the form of handouts and blackface. While white faces show false pride, slip and slide and hide behind white lies. Mary, your soul echoes through bottle trees, fall from Mississippi winds to the crown of my head, releasing all fear. Sit me up, turn me loose. These words are serious. These words are hate. How close can your soul be? Where the Charles over airwaves keeps alive your memory. Sister Merle fought for justice for 30 years and won. Cowards can never hide behind the evil we have done. The truth is clear. It is you I hear. On cool, steamy nights when my peace is interrupted, the shadows on the wall scream, get up and do something. My only recourse is to write with pen and pad, words to write the laws from the not too distant past. It is all too clear. Sit me up, turn me loose. These words I see, these words I hear. To those who speak your name, from the street or post office that gives it fame, to those that don't know the back roads you roamed to make Mississippi a home worth calling home. Sit up, you mighty people. Turn loose the mental chains. Sit up, my beautiful people. Turn loose the burden of blame. Sit up, love for a people, for all humanity. Turn loose the evil that uproots the tree of life. Mississippi, Mississippi, Mississippi. Whether you be heaven or hell, I am here, holding the memory of Mecca until black people have no fear of themselves. In the cup of our mother's hands, we hold the memory of the man, the memory of Mecca, Mecca.
Love y'all.